followed by Lisa Casatori, Robin Gilly, and Megan Lee.
Daniel Latham. I am in the Battlefield District. So have you guys gotten used to everybody just coming up here and yelling at you yet? Is it becoming tiring? Maybe a little. How about we just start addressing the concerns that are being presented instead of fighting with each other all the time? And probably a lot of this will stop. You have heard parents pushing against the blatant sexualization of our children and exposure to sexual topics and discussions before they are mentally developed enough to have these conversations and process them healthily. The books took center stage, but let's be honest, they are but a symptom of a larger issue. The obsession with sex, gender, and orientation is having huge negative effects on our children. It is affecting their mental health by taking what is a confusing time in any child's life while they are developing and coming into their own and injecting gender theory and trans theory into the classroom, further muddying the waters. Now, with teachers and people in positions of authority and in the media treating what is a mental disorder as a badge of honor, we have impressionable and confused young people destroying their lives early on by chemically castrating themselves and mutilating their bodies. When and why have we decided innocence is a bad thing? What need does a child have to know about the teacher's sexuality or even if they have a significant other? Your classroom is not your personal pulpit to spout whatever nonsense you want to our children. If your students know your sexual orientation, you have failed as an educator. If your students know your political leanings, you have failed as an educator. The classroom is no place for activism. Leave your personal feelings and learning at home. Teach our children math, science, reading, writing, and history. Nobody needs to know how you feel about it. Teach them how to think critically and not how you want them to think about a subject. I remember asking my 4th grade teacher if she had a boyfriend once, and the answer she gave me was the correct one. Daniel, my personal life is not any business of my students. This should always be our answer when presented with these questions. We don't pay taxes for you to raise our children. We pay for you to educate them in very specific subjects. If you feel that you cannot teach your class without injecting activism, personal ideology, or sexual conversations in your classroom, then you should resign because you are a threat to our children. Another effect of the hyper-focus on sex and sexual behavior with children is the rise of sexual misconduct in the school systems. Here in Spotsylvania County, so far in this school year, there have been 51 incidents of sexual misconduct among students that required discipline. With 23,000 students in the county, this means your children have a 1 in 450 chance to be sexually assaulted in some manner every year you send them to school, and those numbers are rising. Considering what we did to prevent our children from getting a cold for 2 years, why are we not putting the same energy and effort into keeping our children from being sexually assaulted? Why are we so forcefully defending the very things that lead our children to be groomed for these kinds of encounters? These numbers also do not include misconduct from teachers to students. These kinds of incidents where teachers have been involved are routinely hushed up and end with the staff members being moved to a new position, or in the case of the hazing incident in our county in 2015, those being involved in hushing it up are promoted and given raises. According to the U.S. Department of Education, 7% of all students are reported being inappropriately touched by teachers or administrators during their public school career. When including verbal sexual assaults, that number jumps to 10%. Now, I don't know about the rest of the people in this room, but I have 2 beautiful daughters, and risking a 1 in 10 chance that one of them will be abused by the people that we entrust to educate them is too high of a risk. And yet, when we raise concerns that we have lost the plot and are focused too much on gender, sex, sexuality, and orientation, we get smeared as bigots. I don't really care who a grown person chooses to be with. I have issues with the educators and the education system as a whole confusing children about something that they should have a chance to explore on their own without an activist shoving these harmful ideas down their throat. And I am sorry, but according to the numbers and statistics released by the Department of Education, odds are that one of our student speakers this evening will be assaulted by the very group of people that they are so vehemently defending, and the material that they are so loudly defending is the gateway to this kind of encounter with their teachers. I do not blame the children, as they are too young to know what they are doing. I do blame the adults that are being led around and allowing children to shape public policy about things that they do not have the world experience to understand. It is our job to protect them as parents. And the reason it is our job is because we are the adults, and we are supposed to have more experience and know better. It is not our jobs to be their friends or cater to their wishes and wants. Somewhere along the line, everybody has forgotten that. These are children. They don't need to make public policy. That is your job and our job as parents to make those decisions for them. Don't give them that power.